All right, good morning, y'all. What's up? This is episode 4 of Voices from the Hill. My name is Mr. Still.
Miss Cardwell.
Miss Hill.
And today we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about what it means to listen and not judge, the Fort Hill version. I know there's some other versions out there, but we're going to do our version today. I know you've been here probably the longest out of us, but a lot of kids are curious about just like what your story is and how you got to Fort Hill. So if you want to share just your...
So I taught in the younger grades for about 22 years in elementary school, and moved on to middle school at Sandusky, and was in ISD for about 2 years, taught English as well. And I noticed that all of those kids from ISD, when they got into high school, they were all coming to Fort Hill, and I just missed those kids. So I came to talk to the principal at the time, and came to Fort Hill, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so if you don't mind sharing, how many years have you been here?
About 7 years, going on 8 years.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Well, yeah, but in the big scheme of things, I've been teaching for 30.
Oh, wow. So you're an OG.
I am.
Oh,
I
okay.
am.
Miss Hill, what's your Fort Hill story? How did you get to come here?
So I was teaching elementary sped in Campbell County, and I've been doing elementary sped for a long time, and I felt like I wasn't growing professionally. And so I started searching for the next year, and one of the teachers here was always talking about how wonderful it was to be here. And so I prayed and prayed and prayed, and God led me to the interview, and still didn't get the position for a few months. And then it came through, and I felt like this is where God wanted me. And so here I am. This is my second year. So I made a big switch. I went from 5-year-olds to 14-year-olds. And it's been really, really good so far.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm the young cat. I'm a young boy here. This is actually my first year teaching here. Well, teaching, not really. So before this, I was working with a nonprofit called Iron Lives, which is a nonprofit within the city. We working with inner city kids, and I was coming to see a kid here, and I met Dr. Glover, and I was like, man, Dr. Glover is really cool. I would love to just kind of get to know him more. And as I got to know him more, there was actually an opportunity that opened up here, and I was like, man, I'm gonna take it. Right. So that's what led me here, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Well, we're happy you're here.
You bring a lot
of good energy.
Thank you so much. So one of the things that Dr. Glover is big on with staff and teachers here at Fort Hill is building relationships with kids. If you want to just kind of chime in and talk about how you go about your method in building relationships with some of our students.
Well, I just think you have to be transparent. You have to care. You have to get to know the kids. There is, when you have a small group of kids, I know in my classroom, it's a family.
Mm-hmm.
We all become very close. And so each classroom is just, it should be a family atmosphere where everybody, is accepting and it's a safe place. Mm-hmm. And I always tell the kids, I just want you to have a safe space here.
Mm-hmm. I love that. What about you, Miss Hill?
Well, I have 3 things in my room. Some people at the beginning of the year go through, the rules of how the classroom's going to go. And my thing is be safe, be kind, and be your best.
I love that.
And so we work together on trying to do that, but not judging each other while we're doing it. And I think as a teacher, I see a lot of gray areas rather than white and black, meaning, yes, we have this rule, but for instance, like if you come in and it's one of those days where you're just not going to do your work because something else is going on, I think as an understanding teacher, you put it off to the next day. And I think when children realize that you are trying to make it safe and loving, then that helps.
Yeah, no, I love.
I'm curious with you just coming in and what do you experience? And you have Edmentum most of your day, so I'm curious as to how that goes and what have you noticed being your first year?
Yes, I think just providing overall safety for the kids. Like, hey, listen, if you got this going on, like if you got stuff going on, like, yes, it is teacher student, but I want you to be comfortable and feel safe enough to say, hey, I got this going on. This happened yesterday. This happened. And I think that's a big thing for me because when I was in high school, some of my favorite teachers were teachers that I felt safe with. So There's no guardrails. It's like, hey, you can say whatever you want as long as you're respectful. You can say whatever you want, whatever you got going.
That's my rule.
Yeah.
So all kids, my entire career, they will know that I only have one rule, and it's respect.
Yeah.
And it really, if you respect them, generally, you get that in return.
Yeah.
This makes me reflect on my own high school experience. I was sent to a private school because I was the problem child in my family.
You were the
I
problem
was the
child?
problem child in my family.
Miss Hill, what was you doing?
I will say I had to repeat the 9th grade, and I did that with when my parents put me at private school. I started my high school career over at 9th grade. But I guess it reminds me because I only had 12 in my graduating class at the private school. So I can kind of relate to what y'all are talking about as far as it being a family. And it was really a nice experience. And yes, private school did help correct me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What are some stigmas that you hear maybe some of the kids say, or just some stigmas about Fort Hill that like maybe you want to speak into and kind of shed some light to, maybe some encouragement?
Well, let's start with you because you are the newest. I'm a little biased because I've been here, so I don't have much dealings with outside of Fort Hill any longer. Really, it's just about and I'm a poster child for Fort Hill. So
so I'm gonna be honest. Coming into Fort Hill, a lot of people were kind of like giving me the side eye, like, "Hey, you sure you want to go to Fort Hill?" And I was like, "Yeah, like why wouldn't I not like go to Fort Hill?" And the stigma is that Fort Hill has bad kids, and I try to preach to the kids all the time. Not preach, but tell them like, "Hey, you're not a bad kid. You did a bad thing, but you're not a bad thing. I mean, not a bad kid." And a lot of the time, the stigma is, "Oh, Fort Hill has all of this stuff," and it's just like, no, these kids actually are just normal kids who are just maybe just making some bad mistakes, bad choices, but they aren't bad kids. So I would say that's one of the stigmas for sure. Just that Fort Hill is a bad place.
Yeah.
I've been hearing, my son is a student at Heritage High, and I've been hearing him come home, and it's being told to kids, if you do this, you're going to end up at Fort Hill. And honestly, I did have that view from the community of what you just discussed about what Fort Hill was until I actually came. And honestly, it's a rehabilitation school, sort of. It's not meant to be. What's the word? I don't even know how to put it because it's not meant to be a prison. It's meant to be helpful, I think. And I don't know how we help the community understand what we're doing here. We're not. I mean, I don't know how to put it. I mean, I absolutely love it here, and I love the children, and I love what we're doing.
Yeah.
I love to see their smiles. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to change mindsets in the community, especially Lynchburg, because it is such a tight-knit community. But it just makes me sad when I hear that.
Yeah. And I think this is a way for us to be able to show and present Fort Hill in a different way that like this place really is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I came here because my kids that I had spent so much time with and loved, and the 2 years that I spent at Sandusky and ISD, they were here, and I wanted to be with them. So I actually came because of that. But when I got here, it is not just behaviors that are here. And I think that's what we don't know. And then sometimes it's just a better place. Sometimes kids need, and it might be for a season. It doesn't mean that they need it for their entire high school or middle school career. Sometimes they just need a reset to get themselves back together. So hopefully we can do that here and work with them to get them in a space where they can, go back. Because there's some things in high school that you don't want to miss out on.
Right.
So our goal is always to make sure that, they're prepared emotionally, educationally, to go back and meld right back into their public school.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So I know we're nearing the end of the time or whatever, but I want to play a game. This is like completely on the fly. I want to play
All
a game.
right, then.
All right, so I want to play a game. It's called Guess the Slang. Okay.
All right.
And the game is guessing the slang that the kids say.
Okay.
So you can't, obviously we can't say everything that we're saying, but
They know I'm old, so
I
I
know.
think that they're going to be okay with understanding if I don't
Okay.
get all this.
okay. So I'm gonna throw something out there
All right.
and I want you to guess.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to interpret what it means.
Okay.
Okay. Say that then, twin.
I mean, I don't know.
Is it
Come
like,
on.
like a joke? Like, say that then, twin.
I'm sure you've heard it before.
Well, they call everybody their twin. So, but I'm saying
Okay,
that
there we
they're
go.
like that. It's their person, and then so they're just reiterating to that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like confirming
Confirming
like
it,
say
yeah.
that then.
That's
It's
right.
like confirmation.
Absolutely.
All right.
All
All right. This has a different
Also,
Oh. huh?
No.
Okay. Say that then. So you gotta say it now in your class. Say that
I'm going to
then.
say, all right.
All right. Here's another one. I'm trying to think of it. All right. What's good, G?
Oh, what's up? I got that.
Okay, you got
That's
that.
it.
You got that. That's
Uh-huh.
easy.
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to think of another one. Oh, this is a good one. This young lettuce one. This is a good one. You put that on. What does that mean?
You put that on?
Yes.
You did it?
So say, yeah, kind of close.
Kind of like, it's kind of
Like you brought that on yourself. No?
Uh,
Okay.
Mhm.
What was your guess again? I'm sorry.
That you did it.
So more so fashion wise. So say if I seen you, so say today I see you with this jacket, like, Miss Cardwell, you put that on today. Like this jacket is nice. Like
I
you were
got
fine.
you.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mr. Steele, I will tell you, it's quite comical in my classroom because when they are using terms that I don't understand, I
Mhm.
will ask them, well, what does that mean? And
Yeah.
they just start laughing.
And they'll tell
And we
you.
have a good time with it. So my students are even educating me
Yeah.
on things. And
Yeah.
I like it because then it helps me outside of school too. With my
Right.
friends.
I don't even have to ask. They'll turn and tell me.
Mhm.
They'll
'Cause
tell
they
you.
know.
What does this mean? When you see girls snapping, what does this mean? Nothing?
See the look.
Yeah. So when a girl is snapping like this, when guys don't do this, but when girls are snapping,
Yeah.
it's like, again, confirmation. It's like, you ate that, Miss Cardwell?
Okay,
You put
well,
that on?"
I'm glad because
I feel
I
a
found
professional
myself
development
doing it
from
right with
these
them, and I'm not
things so
sure
we
what I
can
was doing.
better understand our
There we go.
students.
All right, this is the last one. You said
The
popping
last
it.
one was the last one.
I promise
All
it's
right.
the last one.
Okay.
All right, it's clocking my teeth.
Mm.
You've heard that. I'm sure you've heard it before. All of the girls say it. Have you heard it before, Miss Cardwell?
Is it tea like I get all the tea, that kind of tea?
Kind of. You're close. Yes. Well, it is. It is that. It's like tea. So like when somebody's saying you're clocking my tea, it's kind of like you're in my business.
Right. That makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
And a lot of them do this, like this little, I don't know what this is, but they do this now.
Right.
So like,
So the next time a student asks me how old I am, I can see you're clocking
There
it.
yes. And do this too. You're clocking my teeth.
Clocking my
Yes.
teeth, y'all.
Clocking my teeth. Stop clocking my teeth. Yes.
Good deal.
Look.
Well, thank you for that enlightenment.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
We
great.
put y'all on. Now we have a better way to relate with the kids.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yes, this was so much fun.
I don't even like to have my picture taken. So when Miss KG asked me, I was like, I was like, okay. I was like, I gotta get outside my comfort zone. So,
Look at
Which is
that.
good
Yeah.
because we want to encourage others.
yes, and we like
to-
our
to
students
come
to get
on
out
and
of
do
theirs.
this.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So-
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for doing this. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. I appreciate you. And
Thank you, Mr.
students,
Steele.
if you have any questions, if you have any teachers you want to see on a podcast, if you want to be on a podcast, come holler at Mr. Peterson, Ms. KG, Mr. Pollard. Yeah, we rocking with y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.